Swerving on the major D with my man Rasheen. Blue tape blasting on the way to 125th Street. To Compton trees, chocolate leaves, feel the breeze. Windows down, going over limit speed easily, doing 80. But watch out for them cops. They love to chase cars, flashlights, and blow your spot. My cousin stashing a slug creep under the seat.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we are looking at a small, niche, indie American house. I love these houses. This one's out of Portland, Oregon, and the house is called Imaginary Authors. And I first found out about this house because a couple of fellow reviewers were talking about it. Dan Mickers reviewed one of their scents. I think he did Cobra and the Canary. And then my buddy Creed Frakes reviewed their scent Mosaic. And so Creed Frakes really talked this house up. He was comparing one of their fragrances to a Zero fragrance. So I was like, man, I got to check this brand out. So I went along with my life, and then one day it was on the Badger and Blade website, which I'm sure many of you guys know is a wet shaving website that I'm a member of. And I saw that the perfumer and owner of Imaginary Authors is a member of that site as well. So I messaged him, let him know that as a reviewer, I was interested in the house and could I buy some samples from him. And he knew who I was, which was pretty cool. And he totally hooked me up. Within a week, he sent me samples of every scent in the line. And I told him, and I'll tell you guys, I was blown away. And that's like saying I was blown away the first time I heard Illmatic by Nas back in 1992. I think it was the range of scents and their quality that had me this excited. I told everyone that would listen about the house, everyone that I work with. I told my friend who owns a decant shop that she should carry the line. And I just wanted to make a good decision about which fragrances to buy. I really do like them all, but I decided to start, when it gets a little bit warmer out, I was going to start with Falling Into the Sea. But for the colder weather we're in now, I would pick up a scent called Memoirs of a Trespasser. And there are two others for the records that I'll eventually pick up as well. His newest scent, Cape Heartache, which is a gorgeous sort of rugged, mountainy scent with strawberry notes. And a fragrance called the Soft Lawn, which really does sort of smell like a fresh lawn. All the scents that I've mentioned are gorgeous. They all pop. Now, you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, what's up with the name of these fragrances? And besides all smelling great, there's a very cool theme behind the scents in this line. Basically, they're all inspired by imaginary authors. What does that mean? Well, Memoirs of a Trespasser, which is this fragrance's name, is inspired by a man named Philip Sava. And Sava is a postmodern fiction writer who wrote a book called Memoirs of a Trespasser. Evidently, Sava spent most of his life living in solitude on a ranch in southern Madagascar, and when the press asked him about his solitary existence, he responded with, "Who needs love when you have cognac?" Except the thing is that none of this is true. It was all made up by the perfumer Josh Meyer. There's no Philip Sava or a book called Memories of a Trespasser, but the scent was inspired by that story. Meyer says Imaginary Authors is born from the concept as scent as art and as art as provocation. Like a good book, these scents are made to inspire you. In these bottles are layered narratives that are sure to generate stirring conversation, fragrances that may be capable of changing the course of your own personal story. The hope is that they not only invigorate and intoxicate, but also take you to new places. Now, there are about 9 scents in the line as of now. They come in 2-ounce bottles for a very reasonable $85 and can be found both on Josh's website and some other smaller retailers as well. Now, as far as your presentation on these go, they don't come with a box. I'm going to talk more about that later. And it's just a very sort of tiny 2-ounce bottle. Well, that's not tiny. It's a regular size 2-ounce bottle, but it's very simple. It's got the notes right here. So Madagascar vanilla, guaiac wood, myrrh, benzoin resin, amber seeds, and oak barrels. It's got the sort of, this is like, I think glued on really well, and a nice cap, nothing to complain about, and a nice atomizer that works pretty well. So that's a presentation. It's a very simple presentation, but it's very well done. And if you like boozy, vanilla-like scents like Spiritus, Double Vanille, and fragrances like that, you've got to at least check this one out because this is a beautiful, gorgeous vanilla. Fragrance Brothers reviewed this a few weeks ago, and they absolutely did justice to this scent. This is a dirty, gritty vanilla scent. If you like hip-hop and you've ever listened to a Havoc beat, Havoc of Mobb Deep, sort of got that dusty sound. All of these fragrances sort of have that gritty feel, but in a really great way. You know, I recently picked up Vanille Absolument by La Artisan a few weeks ago, and that's a vanilla scent where it smells like someone smoked vanilla beans and a really high-end rum. This one smells like coming out of the cold in the winter. Maybe you've been out in the fields, your hands are covered with dirt, and you come inside to a fire and you're drinking a really old, maybe even high-proof cognac that has a couple vanilla beans in the snifter. It's a boozy vanilla in a completely different way than any of us are used to. And I'll tell you the thing about these imaginary authors' scents. This is no bullshit. Josh composes them in a way that almost gives them a third dimension. They all have this really thick, almost viscous body to them, like you could reach out and touch the molecules that envelop you. Once you put these scents on, it's amazing, the third dimension. And that's not just in Memoirs. That's in Cobra and the Canary, Cape Heartache, Falling into the Sea, etc. Now, I tend to think this is a fairly linear scent. But I mean that in the best possible way. I don't want this scent to evolve. I want it right where it is. Longevity and projection are both fantastic here. Women as well as men could totally pull this fragrance off. I think it's a colder weather scent you want to put away once it starts to get warmer out. But it's perfect for the fall and winter and perfect for any occasion. Really, I'd feel as comfortable wearing this on a date or at an opera as I do wearing it to work. When I think of the canon of vanilla scents, I think Tobacco Vanille. I think Spiritus Double Vanille. I think Vanilla Absolute Malt. And this scent. There's no way you can seriously be into vanilla scents and not even get a sample of this to judge it for yourself. It's just that good. I also want to clarify something here. I consider this a dirty vanilla scent, but there's a big difference between Jean-Claude Elena dirty and Memoirs of a Trespasser dirty. Jean-Claude Elena dirties his scents up with spice, coriander, cumin, or pepper. And Josh has literally made Memoirs dirty with a sort of gravelly, gritty accord. So it smells like almost vanilla beans taken right out of soil. You also do totally pick up the myrrh and gaiac wood, so there's something very spiritual and sacred about Memoirs of a Trespasser. I think the name is perfect because anyone who's around you when you're wearing this is going to have their space trespassed by this aggressive fragrance, and I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't like that. So what do I rate Memoirs of a Trespasser? Well, I'm not taking a point off because this didn't come in a box. Obviously, it's an indie scent. The cost is low. It doesn't need to be in a box, but I do picture this line in Barney's or Bergdorf's one day. And I think when the line is ready, the boxes should be those false books that you can hide money or scotch in with a cutout that perfectly hides the bottle. I think that would be absolutely brilliant and a way to even push the imaginary author's mystique further. This scent's also become relatively easy to get. Online is quite easy, and I think that in New York, Twisted Lily has the line as well. I think the price point is just fantastic. Obviously, it's kept low because Josh has been able to keep overhead low. Personally, I think that if this was being sold 50 ml in a high-end boutique for $135, I don't think anyone would say that's not worth it. I think people would still say it's a good deal. I don't think this is a huge compliment getter, so if you want to impress someone, I'm not sure I'd wear this. But if you like the fragrance, that's really all that should matter. To me, this is a 9 out of 10. I really like Memoirs of a Trespasser. This and Falling into the Sea really stunned me. And as I said, there are others I like a lot in the line as well. Cape Heartache, Soft Lawn. But these two just are the best in show, I think. Please do me a favor and check them out. You can get samples from Josh's website, which I'll link to. Decant Shop also has some of their fragrances. You can check it out there as well. But you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you don't give imaginary authors a one-over. I love that indie producers like D.S. and Durga and Slumber House and Kerosene and this house are out there creating fragrances in the United States. I think it's I think it's great for the country and the industry. And I really applaud Josh for having the vision and executing it pretty seamlessly. These are the houses in this sense that make this hobby for me so much fun. Sometimes I think to myself, you know, I've smelled Zerov, I've smelled Lamawaj and Nasamato and Bikilnian. So where is my nose going to get in his next challenge from? Is it going to be Roja Dove? Is it going to be Parfum de Marly? What price tier is this very expensive hobby going to take me to next? And that's scary. And then some indie scent from the Northwest just comes up and blows me out of the water for under $100. And not only are these scents great, there's a vision behind the house and a concept that's far more ingenious than any other house out there has come up with. So check out Imaginary Authors if you already haven't. Again, it is the truth. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this episode of Maximilian Must Know. We'll be back next week with a big time set. I promise you that. That's all I'm going to say. And another sample shopping video as well. Again, bravo, Josh. Thank you all for watching. I am Maximilian.